What if I told you that the journey to happiness is not about climbing higher, but about discovering what's already within you? One of the most prevalent misconceptions about happiness is the belief that it is achieved by climbing higher, whether that means attaining greater wealth, status, or success. This notion suggests that if we can just reach the next rung on the ladder, our happiness will increase proportionally. However, this is not the truth about happiness. Today, we're going to explore the profound and transformative journey of finding happiness. We'll delve into stories and philosophies that illuminate the path to a more fulfilling life. Let's uncover how true happiness isn't a distant summit, but a state of being that's accessible to all of us. Let's begin with a story from ancient Greece, one of the most iconic tales of contentment and inner peace. Diogenes, a philosopher of the Cynic school, is remembered for his unconventional approach to happiness. One day, Diogenes was seen walking through the streets of Athens with a lantern in broad daylight. When asked what he was doing, he replied, "I am looking for an honest man." Diogenes' quest was not just for honesty, but for a deeper understanding of what constitutes a fulfilling life. He lived in poverty, rejecting material possessions and social conventions. Through his example, Diogenes taught us that happiness doesn't come from wealth or status, but from living in accordance with our values and finding joy in simplicity. Diogenes' life reminds us that happiness is not dependent on external conditions, but on our internal state. By embracing simplicity and aligning with our core values, we can find contentment in the present moment. Let's explore another perspective on happiness through the story of Helen Keller, a woman who faced extraordinary challenges. Deaf and blind from a young age, Helen Keller's life might seem to many as one of constant struggle. Yet, she became an inspiring figure whose resilience and optimism illuminated the path to true happiness. Helen Keller once said, "Happiness is not something ready-made, it comes from your own actions." Despite her disabilities, Keller found immense joy through her achievements, education, and advocacy. She focused on what she could control: her actions, her attitude, and her impact on the world. Helen Keller's life teaches us that happiness is a result of our actions and mindset rather than our circumstances. So how can we apply this lesson in our own lives? Start by identifying actions that bring you joy and fulfillment. Whether it's pursuing a passion, helping others, or setting personal goals, focus on what you can do to enhance your well-being. By taking proactive steps and maintaining a positive attitude, you'll find that happiness becomes more attainable. Now, let's turn to the philosophy of Aristotle, who believed that happiness is the ultimate goal of human life. Aristotle coined the term eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or living well. For Aristotle, happiness is achieved by living a life of virtue and fulfilling our potential. Consider the story of a musician named Julian. Julian was deeply passionate about his craft, but he faced numerous obstacles and setbacks in his career. Instead of giving up, Julian focused on honing his skills, creating meaningful music, and contributing to his community. His commitment to his art and his dedication to his values brought him a deep sense of fulfillment and joy. Julian's story illustrates Aristotle's idea that true happiness comes from living in accordance with our virtues and striving to reach our full potential. Reflect on your own life and consider what virtues or talents you can cultivate. By aligning your actions with your core values and pursuing your passions, you'll find a richer, more lasting sense of happiness. Let's also explore the concept of mindfulness and presence, which are crucial for finding happiness. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. He encouraged us to practice mindfulness, being fully present in each moment. Consider the story of a young woman named Maya, who was constantly anxious about her future. She found it difficult to enjoy the present, always preoccupied with what might go wrong. One day, Maya began practicing mindfulness techniques, such as meditation and mindful breathing. As she became more present in the moment, she discovered a profound sense of peace and joy that had been overshadowed by her worries. Maya's experience teaches us that happiness is found in the present moment. By practicing mindfulness and focusing on the here and now, we can let go of unnecessary anxieties and embrace the beauty of the present. Let's talk about the importance of connection and relationships in finding happiness. Research consistently shows that strong, meaningful relationships are key to a fulfilling life. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "Friendship improves happiness and abates misery by the doubling of our joy and the dividing of our grief." Consider the story of an elderly man named George, who spent his later years volunteering at a local community center. George's life was enriched by the friendships he formed and the positive impact he made on others. His connection with people brought him immense joy and a sense of purpose. George's story highlights the value of relationships in our pursuit of happiness. Invest time and effort in nurturing your relationships with family, friends, and your community. These connections provide support, joy, and a sense of belonging, all of which are integral to a happy and fulfilling life. There is the story of a remarkable man who understood the essence of happiness despite facing extreme adversity. Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, found himself in the harrowing conditions of a Nazi concentration camp. Despite the unimaginable suffering around him, Frankl discovered that happiness and purpose are not defined by external circumstances, but by our inner responses. Frankl's key insight, detailed in his seminal work, Man's Search for Meaning, was that even in the most dire situations, we can find meaning and maintain a sense of purpose. He observed that those who could find a sense of purpose or meaning in their suffering were more likely to survive and thrive. Frankl's experience teaches us that happiness is deeply intertwined with our sense of meaning and purpose. So how can we apply Frankl's insight to our own lives? Reflect on what gives your life meaning, whether it's your career, relationships, hobbies, or personal goals. Embrace these sources of meaning and let them guide you through challenges. By focusing on what matters most to you, you'll find a deeper, more resilient sense of happiness. Next, let's explore the concept of happiness through the lens of a famous story from the ancient Stoics. Epictetus, a renowned Stoic philosopher, lived a life marked by hardship, including enslavement. Despite his circumstances, Epictetus taught that true happiness comes from mastering our own minds and attitudes. One famous story about Epictetus involves a student who was distressed over losing a valuable possession. Epictetus asked the student to consider the nature of the object and the role it played in their life. He encouraged the student to focus on their own responses rather than the loss itself. This perspective shift helped the student regain his inner peace and realize that his happiness did not depend on material possessions. This story highlights a crucial Stoic principle. Happiness is not tied to external things, but to our internal responses and attitudes. To apply this principle, practice detaching your sense of happiness from material possessions and external validation. Focus instead on cultivating inner virtues and maintaining a balanced perspective. Now let's dive into a story that illustrates the power of gratitude in finding happiness. The story of a man named Robert is a testament to this principle. Robert was a successful entrepreneur who seemed to have everything: a thriving business, a luxurious home, and financial security. Yet, he often felt unfulfilled and discontented. One day, Robert attended a seminar on the practice of gratitude. Inspired, he began keeping a daily gratitude journal, noting things he was thankful for each day: his health, his family, his opportunities. As weeks went by, Robert noticed a profound shift in his mindset. His sense of fulfillment grew, and he found joy in the everyday moments he had previously overlooked. Robert's story underscores the transformative power of gratitude. By focusing on what we have rather than what we lack, we can shift our perspective and enhance our overall sense of well-being. Make a habit of practicing gratitude daily. Acknowledge the positives in your life and let this practice enrich your sense of happiness. Let's also examine the role of relationships in our quest for happiness. Research consistently shows that strong, meaningful connections with others are crucial for a fulfilling life. The philosopher Aristotle emphasized the importance of friendship and community in achieving eudaimonia, or flourishing. Consider the story of a woman named Clara. Clara was a highly successful professional, but felt lonely and disconnected despite her achievements. After realizing the importance of meaningful relationships, she made a conscious effort to reconnect with old friends, participate in community events, and build deeper connections with her colleagues. Clara's newfound focus on relationships brought a significant change to her life. She experienced greater joy, support, and a sense of belonging. Her story illustrates the importance of investing in relationships and the profound impact they can have on our happiness. Let's delve into another vital aspect of happiness: living in alignment with your values. This concept is deeply rooted in various philosophical traditions. For example, Confucianism emphasizes the importance of living according to one's virtues and moral principles. Consider the story of an environmental activist named Anya. Anya was deeply passionate about protecting the environment, and her work involved advocating for sustainable practices and raising awareness about climate change. Despite facing challenges and opposition, Anya found immense fulfillment in living in accordance with her values and making a positive impact on the world. Anya's commitment to her values brought her a profound sense of purpose and happiness. Her story teaches us that aligning our actions with our core principles and values can lead to a more meaningful and satisfying life. Reflect on what values are most important to you and seek to integrate them into your daily life. Finally, let's explore the idea of mindfulness and presence. The practice of mindfulness, being fully present in the moment, has been shown to enhance well-being and happiness. The Buddha taught that much of our suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. Imagine a young woman named Emma, who constantly felt overwhelmed by her responsibilities and anxieties about the future. She began practicing mindfulness, focusing on the present moment through meditation and mindful activities. As Emma became more attuned to the present, she experienced a significant reduction in her stress and a greater sense of peace and contentment. Emma's journey highlights the importance of living in the present. By practicing mindfulness, we can reduce anxiety and savor the richness of each moment. Incorporate mindfulness into your routine, whether through meditation, deep breathing, or simply being present in your daily activities. As we wrap up, remember that finding happiness is not about reaching a distant goal, but about embracing and nurturing the elements of a fulfilling life. It's about discovering meaning, cultivating gratitude, nurturing relationships, aligning with your values, and practicing mindfulness. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of happiness. May you find the wisdom to live authentically, the courage to pursue your passions, and the tranquility to appreciate each moment. Happiness is not a destination but a journey, and the path to it starts with embracing the richness of your own life. As we conclude, remember that happiness is not a distant peak to be conquered, but a journey to be embraced. It's found in simplicity, action, resilience, virtue, presence, and connection. By adopting these principles and integrating them into our daily lives, we can discover the profound joy that is available to us all. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of happiness. May you find the strength to live authentically, the courage to pursue your passions, and the wisdom to cherish each moment. Remember, happiness is not a destination, but a way of living, and the path to it starts with you.